Hey everybody, welcome to the Cops Continuum. I haven't made a video for a while, but in light of what's happened here in Columbus here recently with the 16-year-old girl getting shot and kind of on the coattails of the verdict with George Floyd, it's kind of getting a lot of national coverage. But in my opinion, this was a good shooting. Officers did what they should have done. They preserved life. They rendered aid after they shot the girl, and we're going to watch the video in slow motion because in slow motion you can really see what's going on. I'll kind of do a play-by-play of what's going on here, so you can. There'll be no audio in the slow motion, but there is audio in the original. I'll do slow motion first, and then we'll do the real-time video, and you can see what I'm talking about. So here we go. Okay, officer shows up. It took him about 8 minutes to respond. He gets out and he's approaching everybody. He's saying, "Hey, what's going on?" And as soon as he gets there is when everything kicks off. These two girls are saying something to him, and the next thing he knows, here comes the suspect right here. She's going to shove this girl to the floor or to the ground, and she's going to attempt to stab her. So she shoves her to the ground right there. She's kind of out of frame. Officer saying, "Hey, hold up. What's going on? What's going on?" Right here, you can see the knife in her hand. All right. So the officer was very aware. He was very tuned into the situation. So he recognized the threat right away. All right. So here he's going to pull his gun out, and he's going to yell some verbal commands. And you see also there are several officers that are showing up now. So he pulls his gun out, gives some verbal commands. You see this guy, whoever this guy is, I don't know who he is. He's going to kick this girl in the head. All right, so there were two assailants here. So he's going to kick her in the head. The victim, I'll call her a victim. She's not really a victim, but the suspect, the victim of the shooting, she's going to attempt to stab this girl in the pink. Now the girl in the pink has some pretty good reflexes. She gets pushed up against the car. She brings her leg up to kind of block the girl from stabbing her. But in the video, you can see where looks like she's going to try and stab her in the upper body or in the head or in the neck area. But she doesn't succeed. So let's continue to watch. So boom, he kicks this girl in the head. Kicking her in the head could have caused serious physical harm to her. So hopefully he's going to get arrested. I haven't heard anything about that. I don't know if he was arrested or not, but he should be arrested and for assault, depending on what her injuries are. If she doesn't have any broken bones or lacerations or knocked out teeth or anything like that, he'll probably just get charged with a simple assault. But kicks her in the head, right? And kicking somebody in the head, punching somebody in the head, you can kill somebody pretty easily, just the right circumstances. Had a case when I was on assault squad. These guys were stealing beer from this kid up on campus. The kid tried to stop him, punched one of them, and when he punched the kid was dead before he hit the sidewalk. So punching somebody in the head is pretty dangerous. If you hit them just right and the circumstances are right, they can die. So he kicks her in the head. Looks like he's moving forward to maybe take another shot or two, but the focus moves from her and him to her. And you see right here, she's got her arm pulled back where she's getting ready to attempt to stab this girl. So she's stabbed. Look at that. See that right there? She's stabbing right for this girl's face. So she's not trying to hurt her. She's trying to kill her, in my opinion. And I would have done the same thing. The officer's right here. This is his body cam. She's right there, and he's going to go ahead and shoot. When you hear it, it sounds to me like he shot 4 times. I imagine he hit her every time. But we'll take a look and see if we see any bullet holes in the car at all. But I think he hit her all 4 times. So let's watch on. She brings up her leg. I guess she blocks it. Officers firing. I mean, just simultaneous. As she's pushing her, going after her with a knife, he's shooting. So if he hadn't have been quick on his reflexes like he was, I think this girl might have got stabbed. But this officer reacted very quickly. You don't see any bullet holes in the car, so I think he hit her all 4 times. Those of you that love animals, I'm sure the animal, I don't know if it was a dog or a cat, I'm sure it's fine. But looks like it's a dog. He's assessing the situation. You got this person over here, walking around. You got some more officers that are coming up. They're going to walk up to her, check her out. But before they do that, they've got to secure the area. They got to make sure there are no other threats around. And but it's a difficult situation. You hear the interim chief talking here a little bit about what's going on. Yeah, so they're not releasing their name. They're calling next of kin. But let's back up and let's kind of look at that video in real time, and you can see how fast the situation goes from just showing up to all heck breaking loose. So he yells, "Get down, get down, get down." He's giving her verbal commands. Why in the world are you going to pop off when the police pull up and you got a knife in your hand and you don't think there's going to be a reaction? Now, I think that there is a psychological effect that all of this, I don't know if you want to call it race baiting. I don't know if you want to call it systemic racism claims. I think all of this is creating a climate that where people think that the police aren't going to do anything to them, which is not true. I think it's creating a climate to where if you didn't have any, I don't want to call it racism mindsets or views, that it's creating racism on both sides. All this stuff against white culture, black culture, pitting us against one another, the stuff at the borders. I mean, I think the politicians and the media, mainly the media, are being very irresponsible, and they're pitting us against one another, and it's creating a climate of conflict. We're direct conflict with one another. It's like we're diametrically opposed to each other. There's 75 million people on one side and 75 million people on the other, and we all hate each other. And unfortunately, I think that's what they want. I think they want to use situations like this, and I think they want to use the case with George Floyd. I think they want to set a precedents for that. They want to have case law so that they can pursue police officers with similar circumstances and put them in jail. And I think the means to the end for that is, I think they want to have at some point have a federal police department. Now, when I was in Europe, police departments were a paramilitary unit, and they were all over that country. There was one police department. Now, they had different divisions within different cities and things, but it was one police department. And they all had their individual chiefs and commanders and officers and things like that, but it was under the government, and I think that's what they want here in the U.S. And when that happens, there's going to be no backlash that you have for the police department whatsoever. And I think you can look at what happened in D.C. on the 6th of January. Now that should have never happened. Those people shouldn't have stormed the State House like that. But the female Air Force veteran that got shot, we never heard any controversy about that whatsoever. None. You watch the videos on that. As soon as she broke the plane, as soon as she stuck her head in that window, that guy shot her. Now she had no weapons. She was. I mean, it's kind of a catch-22 because the job there that they need to protect the senators and the congressmen. That's their job, but the place had already been stormed by that point, and they were evacuating everyone. So, but anyway, I'm just saying that's an example of how, if it's under federal guidelines, there's going to be no recourse. There's going to be none of this police brutality stuff because it's not going to fly. But now that we have these locally controlled police departments and you got all these politicians getting involved, they want to, this is my conspiracy theory, you can call it whatever you want to, they want to get to the point to where they can control all police departments and have a national police department. So that to me will be the final step in getting control of the American people. And I think it's coming. And they're already making it more difficult to have a gun. And they're talking about making you get some sort of insurance policy for your weapons. Ammunition is already way too expensive, and you can't even find it. So I think if they can't get rid of the Second Amendment, they're going to make it so difficult to even own a gun, and so expensive to own a gun that most people won't be able to. So, but anyway, I think this is a good shooting. That's unfortunate. I hate to see people lose their life, but police officers do not shoot people just to shoot them. Even the situation with George Floyd, he wasn't put in handcuffs and put on the ground just because they wanted to do it. He was a criminal. He was under arrest. Now, did they not administer to his needs and try to render aid to him? No, they didn't. Now, did they try to render aid to this girl? Yeah, they did. They did everything they should have done. They stopped the threat, and then they tried to render aid. They called for a squad. They did everything within policy. He shot her to stop the threat, and then they tried to preserve her life. And unfortunately, she died. But I bet if you ask that girl in the pink, she's real happy that she's alive and not stabbed. So anyway, if you like this, just subscribe to my channel. I'll try and put more videos up. If you don't like it, tell me why in the comments, and I'll try and improve. But anyway, if you know a police officer, pray for him. If you don't know a police officer, pray for him. They've got a tough job. They've got to be able to make life and death decisions within seconds, and then they've got to live with it. So I pray for this officer too, that he's able to psychologically process everything and go about his life and not let this situation have a negative effect on his attitude and his viewpoint. So anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.